Welcome back to week 2 of the Trainer School League. My name is Wire Dragon, joined by my co-host Nate Olas, and I'm ready to go in. We're ready to see these two teams back in action.
Yeah, today we have the matchup between the Obstinate Obstagoons and the Red Hot Chili Pelippers, coached by Lord Lunith and Riven Helper, respectively.
I'm interested to see because not only are both of these teams up a game, so they're both +1 win. Um, the last time you and I would call Nails, we actually watched the Obstacles take that away. So we're running it back, and we're going to be able to see if the Goons can keep it up or if the Pelipers are able to combat.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the Obstinate Obstagoons plays into this incredibly setup-heavy team that the Red Hot Chili Peppers have right here. But there's plenty with some new items and some smart play and from this new gen. I think that the Obstinate Obstagoons could have a good chance, but if they're not careful, then Riven could definitely pick up a clean sweep with some of their setup mons.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we head into these team pages, I want to point out that the Pokemon that are above a blue Pokeball will be the Terra Captain selected, so that way you as a viewer can see it as we're talking about it. So let's head right into the Goons as we get to talk about the new Terra Captains that the Goons have selected this week.
Yeah, this week we've got Volcarona returning as a Terra Captain, and we have Hippowdon this time around. Hippowdon being that great physical wall that for any team can set up Sandstream to get some chip damage. Looking for a potential like very defensive Terra because it's not the most offensive mon in the world, but into this team, Terra Steel looks very powerful. Just the amount of ice types, normal types that would try to do good damage. This Hydreigon as well from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, it just will be able to wall it off and maybe even live some more special hits, even though it's more of a physical wall on its own. And the Volcarona, again, like I said last week, just one of the best Terra sweepers in the league. That uh, Quiver Dance plus defensive Terra or even offensive Terra for some of those stickier walls is going to just put in a world of hurt.
Yeah, and as we head over to the other team here, not only are we going to see some new Terra Captains, there's also new Pokemon that were going to be appearing on the Pelipper squad.
Yeah, Red Hot Chili Peppers making trades this week. They traded uh what exactly were their trades this week? They traded their Chansey for a Shelgon, which is actually one of their Terror Captains this week, and also Bramblegast, or I'm sorry, Wochien for Hatterene. Let's look at somebody else's. Both of those new Pokemon are Riven Helpers Terra Captains for this battle. I'm not 100% sure what to expect out of this Shelgon, that unevolved version of Salamence there. It's going to be able to hold the Eviolite and probably be a very, very annoying defensive wall for Lord Lunith to try and have to deal with if they decide to bring it. But this Hatterene, again, just a slow but very hard-hitting Pokemon. If it can go for an offensive Terra and get a little bit more damage off with something like a Psyshock or even a Draining Crest or Dazzling Gleam, I don't know what there's not a lot looking at aside from potentially this Fergaraf or this Volcarona, there's not a lot that wants to be able to take a hit like that from this Hatterene.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be really interesting because, as we talked about with both of them winning, they both won off of a really powerful setup that they got early. And while both of them are trying to set up for it, they also have to make sure they counteract their opponent. So, looks like we're loading into the game right now. So, why don't we go ahead and take a look at these 6 that are brought from each side. Coming from the Pelipper side, we've got the Hatterene, the Mousehold, the Cloyster, the Electrode, the Hydreigon, and the Lycanrod Dust Form. And coming from the Goon side, we have that Volcarona, Hippowdon, Murkrow, Phalanx, Kilowattrel, and Meowscarada. Any notable Pokemon you want to talk about? Anything that you're really seeing from either team?
One of the things I want to mention is that we are seeing only one Terra Captain coming from Riven Helper's side, and that is very interesting. Where we know which one of these mons can terrestrialize, and that will be the Hatterene here. No, everything else is going to be as it's seen. No Shelgon here, but we do have both that Mousehold and that Cloyster. That if Lord Lunith is not careful, will be able to set up and be able to take it down. Um, and then coming over onto the Lord Lunith side, we see both Terra captains. So we don't. Let's see. I'm curious to see how that will benefit Lord Luth having the extra option for Terra versus Riven's only one. Meanwhile, the rest of the team looks fairly standard. Like that Murkrow's coming back like last week. I wonder what kind of support set it's going to have this time around. And this time we have even a very fast team, save for that Hippowdon. Just the setup with no retreat from Phalanx, the fast Miascarada, Kilowattrel's incredibly fast, can even set up Tailwind if need be. Volcarona's got that base 100 speed and Quiver Dance to increase it. I'm curious to see how Riven Helper is going to be able to take it out if they can't find any time to set up.
Six Pokemon enter. Only one team is going to leave this one, and as we're waiting, both players are currently selecting their leads, and we're finally getting into it. Hydreigon coming from the Pelippers and the Kilowattrel coming out for the Goons.
Now, this seems like a very decent lead here for Riven Helper because there's not a lot in Kilowattrel's move pool that aside from potentially U-turn that can really get a lot of damage off on here. And it goes to the Volt Switch right off the bat to to switch into something more suited for this matchup and to get a lot more damage off. I'm curious to see what this Hydreigon's going to go for because it could be a supportive set. This thing gets a very wide variety of move pools. There's a pseudo legendary that they tend to have a bit more favorable treatment from Game Freak and get a lot more moves to their name. So it could be offensive, it could be more support. I'm curious to see what Ribbon Helpers brought to the table today.
Yeah, and the switcher coming in from the Obstagoons going to have to deal with whatever this Hydreigon actually ends up doing. Either taking a bunch of damage from this powerful pseudo legendary Pokemon. Lord Lunith really sitting here thinking about this, potentially worried about what this Pokemon could be, because at any point, his team currently does not resist a Draco Meteor switching into the Volcarona, going for the Tailwind coming out from the Hydreigon.
Yeah, like you were saying, there's not a lot on this team that takes a Draco Meteor very well. The Murkrow might be able to take it somewhat well thanks to that Eviolite, but its defenses on base are not the best, even with being boosted by the Eviolite. This Volcarona was probably the best bet in terms, but now the substitute coming up from the Volcarona, and we got to worry about this some setup from this monster of a Pokemon and the U-turn does not break it. I wonder what it's going to what it's going to switch into. Here comes the mouse hold. It is not faster than this Volcarona at +1 speed. I'm curious to see just how much damage this Volcarona is going to be able to do, or if Lord Luth wants to get a little greedy and maybe go for a second Quiver Dance.
Yeah, Rock coming
Tidy
up and
up.
immediately coming out for the tidy up. Quiver Dance 100% shotting that mouse hold, so both the substitutes are removed, but the rocks are also removed as well, trading that away, only getting rid of the sub. This Volcarona is in an incredible position, and now it's a 6v5 favoring the Obstagoons.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what Riven Helper has to deal with a +1 Volcarona. This Cloyster, not known for its special defense, more onto the physical side. It they obviously Lord Lunith and Riven Helper might know the damage calcs better than us. They built their teams, but if this Cloyster can survive one hit and get a rock blast off, that's not good look for Lord Lunith. But we have to keep in mind that this Volcarona is the Terra Captain. I'm not really sure what left there is for Lord Lunith that's in Lord Lunith's way. This Electrode could come in. It will be faster, I believe, even at +1 speed. This Electrode is known for being fast and not much else, except for one thing that maybe might save Riven here from this monster of a bug, and that is a potential explosion coming out of this. And I believe that would be enough to take out the Volcarona if it doesn't have something like a Steel Terra. But they decides to bring in the Lycanroc Midnight. Now, this being said, the Stone Edge coming out. The Lycanroc is known for having the move Excel Rock. That is a super effective move into this. But and goes for the Terra Grass, so it does have the defensive Terra here, just like last week. Same Terra as well. But the Stone Edge still breaks the substitute.
Yeah, Terra Blast coming out here, 100% one-shotting that Lycanroc, so it is in favor. Clicking two substitutes here, maybe potentially trying to get to the position where he's able to resist that Stone Edge doesn't happen, but there is a secret second half of this where maybe this Pokemon is actually Swarm and Lord Lunith is purposely trying to lower this Pokemon's HP to get into that range.
That's possible, and it looks like that Volcarona was faster at +1 speed. I guess I had that calc wrong, and the explosion does come out, but behind that substitute, it doesn't matter.
Oh man,
And
here
it
comes
looks
another
like
Bug
this is
Buzz.
just going this might just be a clean sweep from Lord Lunith here. I don't know what else this Cloyster or this Hattering can really do to this due to this Volcarona. This Hattering has to come out. It has to have a very defensive Terra because this is probably going for the Bug Buzz.
Yeah, and we've actually seen all four moves here, right? So we know there's no fire move on this thing. So this defensive has to be resistant to both bug and grass, which is a pretty common typing to have both cover for. The issue is here too, we've also not seen anything like a focus saturate thing come out either. So you would think that none of these Pokemon are going to be able to survive this one shot. So at this point, we're literally only banking on that defensive typing. This Volcarona really showing its strength, and that Terra Grass really proving difficult for the entirety of Riven's team. As we were talking about the team builder or the teams earlier too, one of the Pokemon that Riven wasn't able to bring this week was that Ditto. Potentially trying to be a Pokemon to anti the Stalin would have been really interesting here, but unfortunately now they got to fight a +1 Volcarona with relatively weak answers. With this Grass Terra Volcarona sitting here on the field, very very happy with itself.
Mm-hmm. It's already taken down 4 different Pokemon, barely even had to put on a sweat. And the Steel Terra does come out, but still 75%. And goes for the Calm Mind, might have just made a very greedy play that may have just cost them a bit on their differential. And that Bug Buzz still comes out and finishes it off. The Cloyster needs to come in. Might be carrying Ice Shard to finish off that last bit of damage, but might have to try and hope that somehow it survives a hit and is able to get that Shell Smash off.
I mean, this Volcarona has really shown us its true power, being the first pick for the Goons as Protect comes out from the Cloister. I think we're just delaying the inevitable here, unless that priority move comes out. I believe it's Terrablast kills, and it is a 6-0 Volcarona sweep for the Obstinate Obstagoons here in week 2.
Like I was saying during the team uh, rundown last week and this week, this Volcarona is such a threat if you're not fully prepared for it.
Yeah, and I mean, showing us its true power. Eh, we didn't really see much of any other set. That Kilowattrel came out, and I believe that was the only other Pokemon we saw from the Goons. So really demonstrating how well you have to play it around this Volcarona, and if you don't, how much of a absolute threat that this Pokemon can be uncontested.
Mm-hmm. It does seem like Lord Lunith will be is going to be a very happy camper going forward with this Volcarona. I'm not sure that there's a single mon that's going to be able to contest its reign as probably one of the best Pokemon in the league. But we'll see as the weeks go on.
Yeah, I want to take this time to thank you all for joining us for our week 2 match. The next upcoming match that you will be looking forward to is the Sinister Quills versus Bone Club. And I can't wait to see that one. But until then, I hope you all have a great day and get ready for another powerhouse for the rest of this week.